Okay, so Samsung recently had their fall 2024 event here in Toronto, and I had the chance to take a look at 3 of their new devices: the Galaxy S24 Fan Edition, the Galaxy Tab S10 Plus, and Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra. Plus, I finally got my hands on the Galaxy Ring that has already come out in the US, but will be shipping to us Canadians here in October. So I'm going to be sharing all my thoughts in this video, starting first with the Galaxy S24 FE. What's new with this year from the previous generation is we're getting a larger 6.7-inch display that is more in line with the size of the S24 Plus, I believe. It's a really nice and big phone. Like, I was surprised. I actually loved how it felt in the hand. If you had removed the branding of this phone and just put it in my hands to use, I think that this is a flagship phone from a high-end Android company. When it's not, well, sort of, kind of. The FE line is more of like a budget flagship device to give you a flagship experience, but at a lower cost. That's sort of the play here. In terms of the display itself, it's still the same 120Hz AMOLED 2X display that we've seen from previous models that gives us the punchy, bright colors of Samsung phones. And the display itself appears to be brighter as well from the previous generation. Although I don't have the specific number, the Samsung rep did confirm that it actually is brighter. I believe it's around 1900 nits. In terms of performance, we are getting an Exynos 2400E processor paired with 8 gigs of RAM, which should give identical performance to the regular S24 that we saw earlier this year. And as far as I can see, we are getting the same cameras: ultra-wide, telephoto, main lens, along with a selfie camera. Something nice to see was the larger battery at 4700 milliamp hours, and as always, Samsung made a big deal about this phone being packed with all of its latest Galaxy AI features that we've seen over the last year now. I did ask the Samsung rep if there are any Galaxy AI features that would not work on this phone, and everything does work. Everything that was talked about this year will work on the S24 FE, so that's pretty good, all things considered. You'll get access to what Samsung feels is the most important part of their future at basically a cheaper price. Speaking of price, it's going up. It's going up about $50 or so depending on your region, which is always a little bit disappointing to see for fans of this lineup. I also find that the pricing is a little confusing because depending on where you are, the S24 is probably on sale right now, at least in Canada. The difference between the Fan Edition and the on-sale S24 is only $30 for a much more refined flagship phone experience. So in some ways, I question why this exists with such close pricing. This has to be confusing for other people who are trying to decide on what phone to get. But anyways, I will still be reviewing this device when it does come out, so definitely subscribe below so you don't miss that review. In terms of the tablets, they removed the base size model and now only offer a S10 Plus at 12.4 inches and an S10 Ultra at 14.6 inches. This is my first time seeing these tablets in person, and oh my goodness, the S10 Ultra is absolutely massive. As someone who uses iPads mostly for my tablet use, I cannot imagine how cool it is to have something as big as this in your home. It feels almost daunting to hold at times. I cannot wait to try this out and see how it is to switch to a tablet like this, really, from an iPad. My general understanding of this device is that there isn't a whole lot that's different from the S9 Plus and S9 Ultra from last year, which is fine. Like, most people don't update their tablets every year, if ever. Honestly, the lifetime hold on those devices is much longer than a phone in my opinion. But what the new S10 line does do is make it so that anybody who is in the market for buying a new tablet, they won't be missing out on any of the new Galaxy AI features from Samsung, as they are upgraded with chips powered by MediaTek, which is interesting to hear them switch away from Snapdragon for these tablets. I'm sure the performance is still up there, but MediaTek, like, you don't hear that name much lately. I'm also just excited to see how these AI features work in a tablet UI. I've never used Galaxy Tabs before, so my apologies for a little bit of my ignorance, but once I test, I'm just curious to see how Samsung makes use of the larger screen and the UI to deliver AI experiences. Like, it has to be better than the phone, right? And if you are interested in getting their new keyboard, it does offer a dedicated button for Bixby, and I believe it can be rerouted to open other things like Gemini, which would be pretty cool. The pricing of these haven't changed, thankfully, so anyone who's interested can get this tablet and the new S24 FE on October 3rd of this year. Okay, so on to things that we've seen before, but I haven't personally seen before, and that is the Galaxy Ring. It's been out for a while, but this is my first time actually using it and seeing it in person, as it's finally coming out in Canada in October, and I gotta say, Samsung did actually a pretty good job here. The charging case is one of a kind. It's transparent, it looks super futuristic, and it even has a little charging indicator light that glows and draws your attention. I also tested how easy it is to take the ring in and out of the case, as some other smart rings I've used have made this process more difficult than it needs to be. But with the Galaxy Ring, it does go in and out of the charging case very quickly, so I do appreciate that. I was also able to see it in a variety of colors, and I think the gold one is definitely for me. I'm a big fan of how that looks. The big thing about the Galaxy Ring in general is that it's able to do a lot of things like sleep tracking, heart rate tracking, count your steps. It's able to give you an energy score basically based on all kinds of data that it's collecting about you that's all viewable from your phone while still looking like something you'd want to wear all the time. Like that's the big piece here. It's a nice alternative for people who don't want a smartwatch but still want something that can give them information about their health. Anyways, that's been my experience at the Samsung event, and I now want to switch gears to the Galaxy Buds 3. I've used those for over a month, and I recently posted my review that I think a lot of you guys will enjoy, so click right here to watch it now.